Hi, class. Today we are here with the leadership thinkers. My name is Rachel,
My name is Jason.
My name is Destiny.
and we have our special guest.
This is Miss Rosa. She has two businesses, Rosa's Greek Boutique and Transportation Unlimited. How are you today?
I am absolutely fabulous.
That is so great. We want to start asking you some questions about your leadership.
Thank you.
So, our first question that we have for you today is what experience helped shape you into the leader that you are today?
I guess most of my experiences have led me into the leadership role I am today. And the first thing that got me into leadership was becoming educated and becoming a teacher, which requires lots and lots of leadership skills because you have to basically run a classroom of 25 to 30 kids.
Wow.
And you were a teacher before, right?
I was a teacher and then I was a principal.
Wow.
All right, what happened? I started the sorority business after I became a teacher. And then after I retired, I started the transportation business, which I transport displaced homeless kids to school. And this is 2026, and I have 110 students for this school year, K through 12.
Wow. Yeah, I know that you say that you were a teacher and were a principal as well. Where was this at?
I started teaching in Okinawa, Japan, my first
Wow.
teaching job. I was 20 years old and I was teaching DOD for military families. After that, I came back to the United States and I started teaching computer science at Appoquinimink Ready Middle School. And from there, from Ready Middle School, I taught there for like 13 to 14 years. And then I became a principal in Millsboro, Delaware, a junior high school principal.
Wow, that's a lot of traveling. So where are you from originally?
I was originally born in Puerto Rico, and I came here when I was 5 years old, and my dad was an interpreter for Green Giant.
The next question we wanted to ask was what core values guide your leadership, your decisions, and why are they important to you?
All right, core values is something that is in you, and I've always had a core value of helping and giving back to students, and that's my first love. And other core values is self love, self appreciation, gratitude, and other things as you carry on your mission of being a great educator.
Yeah, so education is that's your big thing.
That is my big. That's been the love of my life, my education part.
How did you find that love?
I found that love. Um, I first loving myself, and then having the love for kids. I'm from a family of 8 siblings,
Wow.
so we had a very, very big family. So, and we were all very uneducated. My parents were uneducated. So I was the first to graduate from college, and all of my other siblings followed suit. Thank you.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, well, as of Saturday, I'll be 72. But the advice I would give to my younger self is to believe in yourself and always have a plan to be successful and have a plan in case things happen that you're able to pick it up and continue on the success highway.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's get into how you are inside of your business and give us some insight on it. Um, so what are some challenges you had to overcome with because you are a black woman that owns her own businesses?
hmm Well, I guess some of the challenges that I first encountered starting my Rosa's Greek business, which is a sorority business for Divine Nine, and only sororities, not fraternities, but I do love my sweethearts. One of the challenges was to be the only woman who would be out on the circuit selling paraphernalia. When I first started in 1984, I was the first woman, and the rest of the vendors and the people who were selling were all males.
Oh,
So basically, I jumped over a hurdle. They would not help me with my boxes. They wouldn't help me lift anything. I belonged to a sorority, So I believe that I changed the game as far as AKs are, as far as deltas are, zetas, and sigma gamma rose.
That is amazing.
Thank you so much. I think it's amazing. I think I should write a book.
You
Yes,
should,
you should.
especially since you got to see in the beginning, with you starting and how you said that it was mostly men selling it,
Yes.
and then you being one of the first women to start selling the
Yes.
merchandise. That must have been like
A
a good
game
obstacle.
changer. Yes.
Very inspiring to other young girls.
Yes. And now there's quite a few women who sell paraphernalia.
Did you ever feel intimidated or anything when you first started?
No, not at all, because I believed in myself and I was on a mission. So I only know that men felt they felt a certain way because I was the first woman.
Mm.
Hmm.
And I don't think they believed I would survive by lifting my own boxes, setting up my own tables. And I did, and I'm very proud of myself because I've been in business for 42 years.
And now you have given your business over to your daughter.
Yes, I have. My daughter has inherited financial black wealth through her mom and her dad.
Wow. For the audience, where can they purchase these items?
They can go online and go on rosascreekboutique.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
And anything can be purchased online, any sorority, and also some social organizations such as Links and Jack and Jill.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am.
And how
Go
fast can
shop.
they get it?
We have a great shipping department, Amazon, and if we get the order today, we ship it today, or we'll ship it tomorrow early in the morning.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking time out today to let us interview you.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
And we also have a surprise for you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would just like to say I graduated from Dell State in 1975. I graduated in 3 years. I graduated from high school in 1972. And in 1975, I had a degree in education. So I started teaching at 20 years old.
Wow.
And I just want all of Dell State alumni to know that this is the best place to come to get an education and to find people who really care about you. I've been in AK for now 42 years.
Wow.
And when I was in high school, for some reason, only women that ever helped me, they wore pink and green. And when I got to college, I realized who they were. So I promised myself that I always want to be an AK so I could give back.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
That's great.
And I hope this group of students get straight A's because of me.
Thank
You
you.
heard it.
Oh, these are
And I also
beautiful.
wanted to
I
ask,
love them.
what big changes have you seen throughout Delaware State from the time graduating and the time now?
Oh, I am so impressed with the dorms, the buildings. I just think the students have so much more than I had when I attended, and they should be very grateful and they should really take pride in attending Delaware State University.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how do you manage your stress?
I manage my stress. I walk 3 to 4 miles every day,
Wow.
and I do a bodybuilding class 2 days a week. So the only day I do not walk is on Sunday because I think Sunday should be given to the Lord. And if there's any students at Dell State who would love for me to be their guest speaker at any function, I'll be more than happy to tell my life story.
Do you have any upcoming business ventures?
Yeah, I was thinking about Wild Quail getting a golf cart, and they have a clubhouse, and so many people order food from their clubhouse at night. And I was thinking about getting a golf cart and just delivering owners food, um, because a lot of the people who live at the Quail are of age. So I just thought it'd be a great business venture for some young person who was thinking about doing that. But if you own a business, you always have a business mind in dealing in business, because my sorority business is totally different than my transportation business. And how I put it all together was I saw so many homeless kids that needed rides to school, and they moved so far, and parents didn't have cars. And there's also a federal law that allows me to transport the kids because I get paid from the federal government. So my school districts that I transport homeless kids now for is Capital and some of the charter schools in Delaware. But I used to also transport kids in Smyrna School District who were displaced.
And for the audience that doesn't know what Quail is, can you describe what it is and where it's
Yes,
located?
Wild Quill is a country club in which I belong to, and they have a lot of different events there. And I know the AKs have that high tea hat function there every year.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you just come up with all these different business ideas?
Because I think once a business owner, you always be looking for the next adventure because you're always thinking and your mindset is set on different businesses. And luckily, I've never failed at my business. So I've been
Ma'am.
very grateful. And there's a lot of blessings from the Lord.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, because there's a statistic out there that says over 80% of businesses fail.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No.
But it doesn't matter if you fail. You should always keep trying because sooner or later you're going to win. And you will win. And also people who fail at businesses are only failing because they did not do their homework to really study what they believe that could happen. That's true. They
Do
just
you
don't
think
believe.
anyone can be a business owner?
No, I don't think any. I don't. I think that I don't think everyone should own a business. That's why some people work 9 to 5. Business owners are people who are very driven and they work 24 hours a day. They never get sleep, and because they're always thinking of the next venture or the next thing they can do to make their business better and successful. And along with coming with the success is also heartache and lack of sleep, um, lack of knowing, and different things happen every day. Your day is not the same in a business. Every day you learn something new.
That's great advice.
It really is. Yeah.
So you started off as a teacher, then went to be a principal.
Right.
Then you started Rosa's Greek Boutique.
No, I started Rosa's Creek when I was a teacher.
Wow.
Oh.
What happened? I worked Rosa's Creek part time when I was teaching, and the only reason I started Rosa's Creek is because I went to my first AK conference, and my friends invited me to the vending area, and I saw all these men selling the wares and accessories to women, and it was so many women in this vending hall, and I saw about 100 women in line to buy an umbrella from this guy and paid for it and didn't get the umbrella. He was shipping out that many umbrellas. And I went home and told my husband, I'm going to do this. And he says, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to take the tax check of $1,000 and I'm going to wholesale and buy some items from this guy who was selling the umbrellas. And I went to the Greek picnic in Philly in 1984. That was my first show. My husband gave me the tax refund, and I came home with $5,000.
Oh wow.
So I knew right then that business would be successful.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
have had a lot of success in your businesses. What keeps you motivated to keep going?
Um, I guess because now my daughter owns it, and I have so many customers that still know me I started when I was like 28 years old, and now I'm 72. So they drive me because I'm like a household name, and I really enjoy all my friends and all my sorority sisters that used to really support me back in the day when Chantel was a little girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Matter of fact, they pretty much paid for Chantel to go to college, and then they also worked on giving my grandson a fund. They would buy things and say, "You're gonna send Xavier to college, so we're gonna give you a little extra." Yeah.
That's great. I wanted to touch back on the process from being a teacher to going to a principal. How was that transition?
I was certified as a teacher, and then
Mhm.
I had to go back and get my master's in administration, school administration. And what happened, I just wanted to do something I want to be able to do like impact like a lot of kids instead of just my 30 kids.
Mhm.
So if I could be in charge of the school and run the school, I knew the kids had a great opportunity about being successful. But there's a lot of downfalls and a lot of horrible things of minority women and minority men trying to become administrators
Yeah.
because that is pretty much a white man's market and a white woman's market. So I had lots and lots of challenges, and it took me a long time to get a principalship. But I kept right on struggling, trying to climb up that ladder, and then I was offered a job.
Yes, ma'am. And so, how does those responsibilities change?
Oh yeah, you're only in charge of 30, and then now you're in charge of 750, 800 students. So the responsibility gets bigger, but also your leadership changes too because now you have to be a listener for all the staff, all the students, all the parents. So that's one good thing when you run a business. A lot of times you always have to listen, which it was very hard for me to do is listen. But over the years, I've become a great listener, especially when I know I'm learning something. If I'm not learning, then I don't want to hear too much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
So, what is something that you have learned recently,
About
just within like your leadership or?
okay. I think that I've learned that I'm not a tech person, but I do try. I've learned that the new generation has so much more to offer um, because of technology. But also, technology can be very bad too because no one now sits down and have dinner together. Everybody has a cell phone in front of them, even old people, not even just the young ones. Also, I'm very concerned about, I guess, the internet itself. And with the AI coming along, I mean, how much will it really affect kids in a bad way versus a good way?
Yeah.
So I remember when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have phones. So we had rotary phones and you had to pay like 10 cents or something like that. But now I like it too because you can easily contact your students or your children can contact their parents a little easier. So there's a lot of pluses, but there's also some minuses.
Yeah.
So we have to teach our young people to be mindful of the bad things versus the good things. And also, we don't want students to get hooked on a cell phone every minute, every hour, every second of the day. They need to be able to communicate, and I think that has taken away a lot of the communication with parents and their children.
How does communication go into effect in your businesses? Like, do you have a team, and how do you guys communicate to keep the team?
What do you mean, my Rosa's Creek business?
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter has a team of workers in the garage. They do mail orders, they make items, they pack items, they unpack, they sort. The team, she has a very good team, but she's also had bad teams. And as no one might know, Desi has been with us since she was in the ninth grade.
Wow.
But she was a freshman at DSU. So she's been there for 4 years, and we're very proud of Desi.
Thank
Desi
you.
has grown into a very fine, elegant young lady.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I love working for y'all.
I know. Yep. She even babysits the dog. And
Yes.
she babysits kids.
Yes.
She does it all.
Everything.
Yeah.
She has a great leader to look up to.
Yes. I hope I am, and I hope Chantel has been too. I know we're hard on you, Desi, but it's only for you to be better.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that.
And and people need to realize that. Because when someone's hard on you, that means they love you. They can't say it all the time, but you know it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Coming from a football background, they always say if a coach is on you,
Oh,
he
yeah.
cares. But if he stops talking to you or stop giving you pointers, he doesn't really care about you no more.
He doesn't
Yeah.
because you don't listen.
Yeah.
Remember that. Because if you listen, you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Miss Rosa left us with a lot of important key takeaways: the importance of education, perseverance, and much more. What did you guys learn?
I took away her leadership, talking about how hard it is to be on people when they show that they care. I feel like that's one.
Yeah, I took away her. She was big on education. She talked about how she started off as a teacher, then she went to become a principal, and as she was a teacher, she even started her own business to try to expand her avenues as well. And she also became a principal after that, and now she is a successful business owner.
I feel like that's kind of inspiring to be the one of the first women to start a business,
Yeah.
especially within like a sorority. I would think that there would be a lot of women selling stuff compared to a lot of men.
That's took a lot of initiative to step out there and to be the first woman to start a business like that, especially in an area like this where she was the first one to really start it.
Yes.
Very inspiring. And we hope she inspired you guys as well. Thank you, Miss Rosa, and thank you all for listening. Bye.
Bye.